manager of the season winner Burak Yilmasmåen has been bombarded with negativeness in the aftermath of last season. Hussein came into my office to say he wants to move to a more ambitious club. I said no, so he's now pissed off. The board also keep rejecting improvements to everything, so it'll be difficult to progress as a club when they do that. And as if that wasn't bad enough, Galatasaray came in with a shameful offer for Hussein, just like they did with Anisli a year ago. I swear Galatasaray are just out for blood. They're trying to make our players force a move out. Well, I'm not having it. About the only positive thing before the season starts is that we're finally out of 20th in the season preview. We're predicted to finish 15th, despite getting 3rd last year. Yeah, that makes sense. Trabzonspor opened this season's ball with an outrageous goal just 2 minutes in, and then doubled it through Mateta in the 29th. We got one back right before the break though, and as Bunyamin got tackled in our box in the 72nd, we got a pen, which Amr Khan scores. So we come back from 2-0 down to draw 2-2 in a season opener. Before our huge game against Fenerbahce, 2 of the team leaders of the club have just come into my office. Before 7 in the morning. They apparently want to just give up as a club and make me let Hussein leave. Not on my watch. Now get out so I can sleep in my office again. As for our game against Fenerbahce, we played absolutely horrifically, as we lost 3-0. After the game, their new manager, Çağdaş Atan, came out to say that we need to respect them more. This guy's the new Mourinho, bro.
Respect, man, respect.
Just for qualifying for the Europa League, we've now got a whopping 3 million. So the board have finally decided to upgrade something, the training facilities. A dull game followed against Alanyaspor, as the only goal was this banger from Bunyamin. And against Manisa, we just about won 2-1, thanks to Mehmet Dursun getting a brace on his debut in the starting 11. It's time for Yeni Malatyaspor's very first game in any of the official European competitions. We were in the qualifiers in 2019, but didn't make it through. So it's a big game for the club as we face Rosenborg away. Erkan started by scoring an offside goal 2 minutes in. The rest of the game though, we did everything to hold them off. Bayram saved this, Mothiba hit the bar as he tried lobbing Bayram, and Bruma missed this huge chance in the 90th as he too hit the woodwork. So we rob our way to a 0-0 draw, as they didn't manage to score from 1.84 xg. We then managed to lose 2-1 to Pendikspor, all because of Nekat getting a second yellow in the 38th. And because of that, I brought Demeli on, who broke his lower leg, and is out for 4 to 5 months. That's all on you, Nekat, you idiot.
Are you stupid or something?
A dull game away to Partizan Belgrade followed. We did get the win though, thanks to Amr Khan's nice and easy finish. Amr Khan kept scoring against Trabzon in the league to give us the lead 2 minutes in. They equalized in the 50th though, through Fillet. We've just conceded to a piece of meat, bro. What the hell? Thankfully though, Denizli scored this header to get us the win. In the next game, against Besiktas, we went 2-0 down in the opening 7 minutes. They then scored again right before the break. Before we too got one right before the break, through Denizli, but they then scored again right after. In the 62nd though, Denizli scored again. And 14 minutes later, he scored again to get his hat-trick. But we couldn't get the equalizer, so Denizli has just scored a hat-trick without winning the game.
Pain.
Nothing happened in the next game, as we drew 0-0 with Ankara Gucu, before I decided to revert to our basics, the 4-3-3 we started this journey with. So Hussein is now playing as an anchor, and we've only got one striker now. That worked wonders. We smashed Igdir 3-0 thanks to goals from Denizli and Ekman ×2. Against Konyaspor, we just about won 1-0 as Denizli went on an insane solo run before crossing it to Ekman to tap in. That win means we're in 6th after 10 games. We're only 2 points off 4th and are definitely within reach of the European spots. After a bit of a tough start, we've now started to pick up some form. Back to Europe, we got absolutely humbled 4-0 by Newcastle's super team. Just look at this team, bro. And then we lost completely deservedly 3-0 against Lille as well. so we'd have to use our team of Mohawk security personnel to get away from the press after that monstrosity. Denizli started our 11th league game by missing a pen, but we did get the win either way, as Erkan got this tap-in the 54th. Before our next game, Hussein has finally come to his senses and has decided he's happy to stay at Yeni Malatyaspor. In our next game though, we went 1-0 down in the 35th, as Boller hit the post and Salina scored a rebound. 10 minutes later though, Duran scored with his heavily deflected finish. Nothing happened until the 92nd, where we put together a nice team attack, finished off by Duran! 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 So we steal a 2-1 win over Antalyaspor as we scored twice from 0.29 XG. Against Kasimpasa, the Turkish version of TikTok, Yasintok, missed a big chance 23 seconds in. Nothing happened until I took off the entire front three, as just a couple minutes later, Haidar scored from Nekat's deflected cross. Denizli then doubled it to make it a 2-0 win 5 minutes later. A late goal from Duran made sure we got the 3 points against Kocaelispor as well, as he did it all himself. Going back to Europe for the final 2 games before Christmas, we win deservedly 2-0 against Viking thanks to this incredible chip from Denizli and an own goal from their defender from Ekmen's low cross. And against Karabakh, we took the lead early through Akarslan's towering header. Mustafayev then got a straight red for this challenge on Ekmen, but we still managed to concede to them. Haidar then scored this free kick through their wall, before Saleme scored a rebound from Haidar's free kick. But we can't even see the goal. And despite conceding in the 73rd, we held on to win 3-2 against Karabakh. In the 15th league game, we only managed a 1-1 draw with Samsunspor, because of Holse's outrageous long-range free kick. That's our first drop points in 7 games in all competitions. The youth intake preview is here now though, and it's actually something this time. We have a B coming through in central midfield and a C up top. And the club have also given me a new contract, a 4-year deal, so I'm not leaving anytime soon.
I'm not fucking leaving!
Despite going 1-0 down to Rizespor 19 minutes in, we came back as we scored 3 goals before the break. Through Taha's own goal, Haidar and 16-year-old Altan Gurgul. They also scored 1 before the break, but as Duran scored with a brilliantly placed finish in the 57th, we won 4-2. Before playing Galatasaray, Okan Buruk, their manager, said he's interested in Hussein. I replied like Ange would, and he said he's struggling in the negotiations when he hasn't even put in a bid. This guy's a serial donut.
You're a donut! You're so stupid! You're so stupid! You're stupid! Dumb!
And now we're playing them, the side we've never managed to beat. 3 minutes in, Solemes missed this decent chance, before Haidar scored with this nice finish in the 10th. Nothing else really happened in the first half, but in the 63rd, Eren missed this big chance as his shot's gone out for a throw-in.
Have it!
Sorachi then hit the post in the 69th, before Bayram pulled off this huge save. And as nothing else happened, we actually win against Galatasaray. That's our first ever win over them, and straight after bantering Okan Buruk as well. That's so funny. The final 2 league games before the halfway point were a mixed bag. We won deservedly 2-0 against Başakşehir as Hussein and Omar Khan got our goals, before we somehow lost 3-1 to Sivasspor on an ice pitch.
Ow, my eyes are bleached! Get that away from me!
That means we're in 4th. We've just dropped down from 3rd and we're now 4 points off Besiktas in 2nd. But we have had an insane run as of late, except the disappointment against Sivasspor. In the January window, Benfica came in with multiple offers for Calafat, which were just way too low, so I declined them. And then I renewed Calafat's contract, even though it couldn't get extended further, just to get them off my back. But then
Internationale
came in with a loan offer for our other centre-back, Akarslan, and with a mandatory future fee of just 2.4 million. That's laughable. Our next game, we're up against the clear leaders of the league, Fenerbahce. Their new coach, Mr. Respect, has put together an insane campaign up to this point. So let's give him something to worry about. 15 minutes in, that's exactly what Duran did. He scored with a nice finish to give us the lead. Just 4 minutes later, he scored again. He won the ball from their horrific pass to make it 2-0. Duran! 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 In the 55th, Wrench scored with a shit finish which Bayram should be saving. And he's done a Maguire afterwards. He runs and celebrates it. But as nothing else happened, we win 2-1 against Fenerbahce. We've actually won against Mr. Respect. And now he needs to respect us.
Respect, 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 man, respect.
The final 2 Europa League phase games were closer than I'd thought. We took the lead through Duran after a nice team attack. The same man then doubled our lead 10 minutes later. Duran's on fire. Your defense is terrified. Duran's on fire. No 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 no. No. They then scored, but we got our third in the 61st. Before they scored again. We held on to win 3-2 against Lask though. And against Rangers in the final game, we got the lead through Erkan. Before they scored late on to equalize. But in the 95th, Burak Yilmasmåen, of all people, scored this tap-in from Haidar's pass to get us the 2-1 win. But we missed out on top 8 by a single point. We ended up with 16 points, and both 7th and 8th ended with 17. 2 disappointing draws followed in the league, as we drew 0-0 with Trabzonspor and 1-1 with Alanyaspor. We then just about won 1-0 against Manisa as Ekman got the only goal, before we once again drew. Another 0-0 game, this time against Pendikspor. We've now got Rosenborg in a Europa League knockout playoff round. The first leg was one of the absolute worst games I've seen from this team, as we lost 3-1, so we have a huge job ahead of us. Nothing really happened in the second leg until the 44th, when Haidar scored with this great finish from Duran's pass through. 20 minutes into the second, we score again, this time through Omar Khan with a brilliant volley, but they then scored straight from kickoff. Not even 10 minutes later though, Omar Khan scored again. Another great finish from Duran's deflected cross. In the 95th though, Calafat decided to handle the ball in such an unnecessary situation. Literally just to get the ball out for a throw-in. So he's gone and got sent off. It's going to extra time now though, and we stood no chance with 10 men. They scored a whopping 3 goals in extra time, so we're out of the Europa League. And in the next league game, we went down to 10 men again. Nekat got a straight red this time, but thanks to Duran scoring with a brilliant finish off the post, we won 1-0. As for the Turkish Cup, we've actually done brilliantly. We won easily 3-1 against Boluspor as Omar Khan got a brace, before we surprisingly won 2-1 against Besiktas as Erkan got a brace this time. And now we've got Kasim Pasa in the quarters. As if Calafat hadn't done enough damage with his hands already, he does it again.
He's done it again! That is a foul! You little bastard!
So Umut Bozok scored a pen for them in the 87th. But we managed to equalize in the 92nd. Omar Khan scores this tap-in from Erkan's post-it, so it's going to extra time. Right before the break in extra time, Nekat scored with this nice finish. That was enough, so we're through to the semis. But we then lost 3-2 to Besiktas. We actually came back from 1-0 down to make it 2-1, but then conceded twice in the second half to make it 3-2. Thankfully, we did hit back, with a 2-0 win over Ankaragucu as the Nisli got a brace of tap-ins. And now the youth intake is here. And it's actually brilliant. We have an elite midfield talent in Cem Aldogan, who'll hopefully develop into one of the best players at the club. We also finally have a good prospect at right back in Volkan Efe, and I'm genuinely putting him straight into the starting 11. After a glimpse of happiness, it's straight back down to earth, as we went 2-0 down to Igdir. 10 minutes after their second goal, we got one back thanks to Berkan scoring an own goal from Ekman's pass across. And 10 minutes after that again, Ekman shot from just outside their box, which deflected off another one of their defenders and counted as another own goal. So we draw 2-2 with Igdir without scoring a single goal. An insane end to the game followed against Konyaspor, as Erkan scored in an 84th before Volkan Efe scored on his debut. They then scored this banging volley, but we won 2-1 either way. And as we only managed a 1-1 draw with Adana Demirspor because of this banger from Fatih Yildirim, we're in 4th after 30 games. We're a point off Trabzonspor in 3rd and tied on points with Galatasaray in 5th. So it's very tight in the fight for the 2 Europa League spots. Hüseyin has now been called up to the Turkey senior national team for the first time. That's huge! And I've also managed to convince the board to upgrade the youth recruitment, as well as the fact that both Hüseyin and Akarslan have been named on the next-gen list. Life is good at Yeni Malatyaspor, but we then drew 0-0 with Antalyaspor. We hit back in insane fashion though, as we smashed Kasimpasa 4-0. Omurkan got the first from the spot, the second with a powerful finish, and then the third from the spot. Oh, he missed. Well, Solemes got our third, and Erkan got the final one. And then we somehow lost 1-0 to Kocaelispor. They scored this, which is just definitely offside. What the fuck? That's a robbery. Against Samsunspor, we were in control for most of the game, as we won 3-2 thanks to a brace and an assist from Omurkan. Before we beat Rizespor 3-1 because of Nekat of all people, scoring an incredible hat-trick. And then we lost 1-0 to Galatasaray. So if we don't win the cup, then we can wave Europa League football goodbye. In the first leg of the semis against second-tier side Sakaryaspor, we conceded from the spot 3 minutes in. Omurkan then equalized it for us, before Haidar scored to get us the lead. But we then left 2 men wide open, so they scored from a short free kick in the 87th. And in the second leg, we started as we ended the first. We left a man wide open, so they scored from another short free kick. We then equalized through Nekat, but they got a lead from the spot shortly after the interval. Straight from kickoff, however, Erkan scored this header from Nekat's cross. And then Gurgul scored 5 minutes later to get us the lead. And the win! So we're through to the final! Thanks to a brilliant brace of assists from Aldugan in the 37th league game, we won 3-1 against Başakşehir. Before winning 3-1 against Sivasspor as well. Erkan got a brace and Duran got the final one. But now it's time for the Turkish Cup final. The biggest game in our history, and our first chance of getting a major trophy. The stage is set.
And it's live!
There were literally only 2 highlights, one for each team. We got ours in the 17th, as Erkan scored with this brilliant finish from Ekman's through ball. Their highlight came in the 75th, where Ensar hit the bar with his header. So we win 1-0 against Fenerbahce to win our first ever major trophy! Our academy has produced a Turkish Cup winning side as Denizli lifts the trophy. Our first season in Europe has actually been really encouraging. We've managed to perform at a decent level in the league, while also getting to the knockouts of the Europa League. Burak Yilmasmåen has also become an icon at Yeni Malatyaspor, as we've qualified for the Europa League once again, but this time through the cup. As for the development of our players, Bayram has now developed into a good Super League player, while Akarslan and Kalafat have kept performing this season, without having a crazy development. But they're still very much good enough for the Super League. Our fullbacks are the weak spot in the team, but hopefully they can get better. Hüseyin is still performing and has signed a new contract this season, while Duran and Solemes has kept performing as well. Ekman and Haidar have performed quite average. And the same goes for Denizli, Erkan and Omurkan, as our attackers have struggled quite a lot with goal scoring. But we've now finally got a right back from the youth intake in Volkan Efe. And hopefully he can get his breakthrough next season. And the same with Cem Aldugan, who looks like a gem. Haha, pun intended.